Alright, now we're good. Okay, so why do you think there's only two genders?
So I'm gonna use the term sex to define gender, because quite literally.
Oh, wait,
like,
well, hold on, I never agreed to that definition. Define it real quick for me again.
Okay, so, sex. Do you care if I use the Oxford Dictionary, or do you want me to use multiple dictionaries?
Hold on. You know, it's just gonna. I'm reading this right now. It's just gonna contradict since it states main two categories.
What do you mean?
You do understand the definition of that states the definition you're using, which you'd only be used have to use because it's the only thing that refers to your point. It says either the two main categories into which humans and most likely other beings or human living things are divided into the basis of their reproduction functions. But it states two main categories, like implying that there's other categories. If we use the definition of mains.
I'm looking at a completely different.
You said Oxford. This is Oxford.
Yeah, Oxford English Dictionary.
Yeah, I know. Oh, Oxford. I was using Oxford Languages.
Oh no, the one that I'm looking at is. Oh no, that's the.
You can find what definition do you have for Oxford Languages or dictionaries?
That's based on a sociological stance, so I'm trying to look at the.
That's probably a terrible stance for you, because then I'll just argue that the definition of what a name is, which is just a set of words used to refer to a person, place, animal, or thing that is known, addressed, or referred to.
I mean, you can't necessarily take a sociological stance on a biological issue.
Yeah, but the problem is you argue that's the main problem. That's why it's so easy to premise lock people, because they forget. You're thinking gender is the same thing as genitalia. Genitalia refers to the physical body parts of a human. Gender just refers to the name that you place on the human, and a name can be referred to many things due to the definition, right?
You're given the name because of your genitalia.
The noun, according to.
Not only that, but you're aware what intersex is, right? That there's beings and there's people different genitalia.
Are you talking about the beings that are, or no? I'm thinking of hermaphrodites.
Yeah, people male body parts and female. Yeah, male.
Definitely solved.
Yeah, that's the problem. But yeah, it doesn't matter. We're speaking in gender. You cannot just exit one gender. Yeah, but the thing is, right, there's people you're ignoring the fact that there's people with male and female body parts.
Are you talking about hermaphrodites now, or no? Sexual
people with male and female body parts. Yes.
Yes, sexual.
Okay, that's not being a male nor a female.
Do you have a penis or a vagina? That is the main.
You're forgetting that there's also such thing as breast.
Okay, breasts can be the.
No, there's a difference between a male type and female type. Humans may have
I'm saying there is a very fine line that can define that.
Yeah, hold up. I'll just send an article to you because I don't feel like getting into this. Hold on.
A male is able to produce breasts and breast milk if they have an.
Yeah, again, but there's a difference between male type and female type, which I'll go I'll extrapolate on that after you read some of the article that I sent in Scans and Calcs.
Scans and Calcs. Okay. It's not letting me open it up. I'll look that up. It's Planned Parenthood, right?
I just sent it again. That doesn't make sense. It should just let you click on it.
I just.
Are you ratting right now?
No, I just looked up the same article. It just wasn't letting me click on the link. Okay, so what it's going into is binary ideas.
No, it's
but
not.
that
You're speaking of different. You're speaking of a different
no
article. This article like specifies, like the first opening statement literally specifies that isn't the anatomy that doesn't fit into the boxes of female and male, and the binary ideas of male
yeah, no,
and female. Yeah, it
read
states ideas. That's conceptualizing, not conceiving.
again. So going into that topic by itself, binary ideas would be a sociological construct, wouldn't it? Not a
It'd be
biological
like it'd be a conceptual
construct,
thing though. Because like there's a difference between conceptualizing and conceiving. You can conceptualize that there's like only two genders, but again, genders like speaks of a name. Names I already gave the definition. I'll give it again. I'll just send the copy and paste the definition to you. But like that speaks of like a conceptual idea, a concept, not a conceivable idea. Because humans do not conceive things; we conceptualize things. That's like the main thing that we do. It's how we learn things. So by us conceptualize, we can conceptualize all the time that we, like there's only two genders, but like that doesn't concede the fact that there are two genders.
But humans. Well, there's a large difference between conceiving and conceptualize.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
No, conceiving is developing an idea. Conceptualizing.
No, it's not.
I just looked it up.
What are you talking about?
As verbs, the difference between conceive and conceptualize is that conceive is to develop.
I'm using the Oxford definition.
Oh, okay. That is my bad then.
Yeah, conceiving is to make something a logical possibility. Like let's say if I place the let's say I conceptualize that I am going to place a deodorant on my desk. Bam, I just placed a deodorant on my desk. I just conceived that.
Oxford language states that it is to form or devise a plan or idea in the mind. That's what Oxford language
That's is. Fine, but like why is that definition like more valid than mine? You don't understand there could be multiple definitions. That'd just be a bit of an equivocation fallacy on you, since you're like misinterpreting the definition I used.
No, I'm what is the exact definition of conceive for you?
I'm saying the definition to you.
I haven't heard it. That's my.
Oh, okay. To make something to make a concept a reality.
Wouldn't there just be a philosophical definition?
You can get whatever definition you want, but it doesn't change the validity of mine.
Isn't philosophy just a theory, though? You can't necessarily take a theoretical idea and put it as fact and knowledge.
Wait, but like the thing is, do you understand what like a definition is? That like be contradicting the like idea of what a definition would be or what a name would be. A name is like a set of words which I set the definition to you in Scans of Calcs. I'm using the first one, by the way. It's a set of words by which a person, animal, place, or thing is known, addressed, or referred to. So like that just like be contradicting and like almost be like almost a sharpshooter fallacy on you.
What does a name have to do with conceptualization and conceiving?
Because the thing is, right, let's say if I give my definition of what conceiving would be, that definition would be completely valid. I'm completely validated. It just means I'm not using the definition that you're set to, which should be. Now there's like 3 ways this could go. Either you agree, or the only ways you can really refute my definition is by giving a definition that you claim to be more valid than mine, which you'd have to prove, which is impossible to prove because it'd just be appeal to authority. Or the second way you can go about this is to just say that like my definition, like that I'm like refusing to progress the debate by giving a definition you don't agree with, which would be like an argument from incredulity or credulity, whatever you call it.
That could also be taken both ways though, because
I'm giving one definition. That definition is the one I'm using.
Okay, and the one I'm using is completely separate.
Okay, that's fine. Why would we use the definition you're using? That's an equivocation fallacy. Because the thing is, I'll explain to you what that means, right? An equivocation fallacy. No, there's 2 ways. No, Rejex, I'm going to explain. No, Rejex, I'm going to explain to you, bro. No, I don't, and I'll explain why. Could I explain?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. The thing is, right? The definition I'm using, this is the definition I'm using, and this is what I mean, right? Meaning, if you're going to say, no, this is not what you mean this one, this is the definition that you are using, you cannot say that. Because
No,
truly,
no,
you do not
that's not
understand.
what I'm trying to do.
Okay, but the
That's
thing
not.
is,
That's
that's what
not
you're
what I'm trying
doing,
to do.
though. Because you're saying that, though, you have to use this definition. You're almost, like, forcing me and putting the burden on me that I have to use the definition you're using to get across my point, when it's not your point. The only time I'd have to use your definition if it's your point. But that's reversed in this situation,
No,
because it's my point, therefore you have to use my definition.
that's not at all what I was trying to
Okay,
get
then
at.
what are you doing? Why aren't you agreeing with my definition, then?
Sorry, I was just arguing in a bad way. All right, fine. I'll give you that point to that definition.
Okay, so basically, right, if this is the case, and like we can like conceptualize that this is the like gender, like this, like that there's only two genders, but why does that like conceive that there are two genders? Why does that make that an objective reality?
Okay, so let's take into account what would you put as a higher in the pecking order for logical narratives? Would you put social constructs or scientific definitions?
Scientific definitions, because that's the only thing we can really substantiate on. Because social constructs, I feel like,
Okay,
are
so
a bit like almost almost
a bit,
it's a bit subjective. I know that kind of sounds a bit weird in this type of like phrase that we're referring to, but it is a bit subjective. That's why I feel like scientific definitions would be better to substantiate upon, especially since it helps progress further, like the debate, instead of like compromising dialectics.
okay. So the point that I'm trying to get at is, or trying to get at, well, yeah, I guess trying to get at is, that there is only two genetical sets, correct? Or two genetic parts that a being can have, correct? They can either have a penis or a vagina, and they can either have.
Yeah, I agree to that. What's your point, though?
Okay, that is what I'm getting at by there is only two genders.
Okay,
Stating
but
that
you
there
are
would be
aware
no-
that, fine, you can have like two of them, but are you aware that there's like a
You-
combination of those?
Okay,
Like you can have
yes,
female and
you
male
can.
body parts.
You can have a combination of those parts, but that doesn't.
What does that make you then? Does that make you a male or female?
It could make you either or, but it doesn't.
No, but like, why does that?
necessarily
Why
say
does that like mean that like? Because are you aware like what? That's why there's a That's why there's an actual definition called intersex. Like in
Oh,
order
yes,
to like in order to like you're
there's
basically you're invalidating that definition, saying why can't I invalidate the definition of female or male?
No, I'm not. I'm not invalidating it in the
You
slightest
are
way.
if your argument is that like since there's only male, since there's like binary physical parts, you're like invalidating that doesn't like only like keep it from being multiple genders. Just because there's two, like I'll give an example, right? Just because there's like what's a good analogy? Let's see. Okay, right? Just because you have only bread and meat doesn't mean you can only make a sandwich, right? Because you could eat, or actually, just because you have bread and meat does not mean you can only make meat or bread, right? You can make a sandwich with those two. That's what I'm trying to get at to you. Like, just because there's only two physical body parts, does that mean there cannot be like only more than two? Does that mean there can only be like two genders?
What are the constructs of said sandwich? Meat and bread.
I thought we already discussed like that we would be using like scientific definitions instead of just social constructs.
Right? No, that isn't a social construct. There's only.
Oh, then what is it?
Two. There is only two composite products or going into gender. There is an X and Y chromosome. There's not a T.
Okay, that just goes back to my analogy. You know what I mean? Like the gender doesn't like always refer to. Yeah. What?
Archimedes, I had to let you finish your point, so let me finish mine, dude. So
sure.
What I'm getting at is there is only an X and Y chromosome. So the only physical components that is able to go into a human being is either a male set or a female set. Not saying that there can't be odd combinations or outliers in the situation to the combination patterns, but the undeniable proof that 98 to 99% of every single combination would be XX or XY. So stating that by adding another gender into that, you would have to add another chromosome into that, because that would be adding another possible composite factor into the gender. The point that I'm getting across is that, or the point that I'm trying to get across is that, sorry, that was an is that there might be odd combinations, but the idea that somebody can just make up a gender, such as you want to be a fucking Apache gunship, no, that's not a thing. The biological patterns or biological combinations that can go into forming a human being are either male or female composite factors. It doesn't state that there can't be a outlier combination. There's outliers in every single variation, but that doesn't state that those are what is actually there, so to say. Because generally, when we're talking about math or science or physics or some shit like that, you don't necessarily take into account the outlier. You take in the median.
Is that your point?
That's the point that I was trying to get at.
Okay. Look, yeah, I feel like that's a bit of a... I mean, now I understand your point more, but, like, it's a bit of a sharpshooter fallacy. I feel like you're more of, like, overanalyzing the similarities and the differences a bit. I'll go further into that after I'm done, like, addressing your outlier point. If there's a possibility in a hypothetical world that there could be an outlier referring to, like, two different genders, because, like, you're going off, like, almost the presupposition that male means you have a male body part. Like, do you understand, like, what male means? Like, what the definition of male, what it can mean?
The being has an X and Y chromosome, or an X and X. I can't remember. That is mine.
It basically refers to the male gender, or you were like the definition of gender. Gender is either
specific definition, because there is.
Yeah, I understand. I was gonna get into that. Basically, members of a particular gender considered as a group. It has been scientifically proven that there could be more than two genders. I feel like you're a bit denying this, which I've already like addressed in some like article and things like that. That there can be more. You're almost like you're overanalyzing like the similarities instead of addressing the differences that I've brought up. That's like my first main objection and like refutation to what you said. My second main one is that the fact that you're saying that like you're almost going off like if there's a possibility in a hypothetical world that there could be an outlier, that possibility becomes an actuality since there are outliers, which is why we refer to them as intersex beings that have male and female body parts. I've addressed this point. I feel like that's also where like the sharpshooter fallacy comes in, because I've addressed this point to you, which you like haven't actually debunked yet. No, I'm not done, bro.
I can see
Rejex.
I can see nothing.
Okay, so if there's if that means that there's like an intersex, like I've already like explained to why that would mean like make a new gender, because that's what the definition of gender is. It's referring to the genitalia you have, and if you have if you have like sorry, I'm kind of I need water, but like I'm not done. But like if you have like more than two genitalia, if you have like a genitalia of a male and female, I'm not done. What did you say?
You said you needed water. I need to go get water as well. So do you want to pick it up after get water?
Yeah, hold on. I have a water bottle on my desk right here. I just refuse to drink it. I don't know, for some reason. You can get water real quick. I'll take a break. Yeah.
Can you turn your camera so I can see you drinking this water?
No, none of us are doing it on our camera because it's weird. That's a bit sus.
How's that sus?
I'm assuming, why are you asking this guy to killer? You know the consequences for turning on your camera, especially on a toxic community like Discord. You're already aware of the consequences.
Man, you don't have to do me like that.
You know the consequences. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to get put on a t-shirt like you, God Killer. That is not me. You have confidence, I do not. That's a problem.
That's when I got into the debating community, and I just felt like, yeah, why not? Turn on my camera.
Yeah, but you did that at Azuma, one of the most popular and toxic communities, especially with Gabaki, dude, this MVC, come on. Like, literally, it's scary out there. Like, To be honest, like, I only accidentally turned on my camera. That's why I don't VC on film, because I one time I accidentally turned on my camera. Luckily only Ariel, Scoob, and Azazel were there. I accidentally turned on my camera. Sheesh. I mean, good thing I was already, like,
Wait,
you know.
wait, were you there for my debate that I had with like Sane or something?
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was in VC. Oh yeah, what's up, Rejex? Okay, so I'll finish my rejections and refutations. So yeah, I've already like established that like gender is referring to the genitalia, and like you cannot be a male if you have female body parts, and you cannot be a female if you have male body parts. But if you have both, you cannot be either or. That doesn't make sense. That's logically incoherent. You have to be something else, which is what intersex is. Intersex is another gender. There is male, female, and intersex. That's what it is.
Okay, so is that the point you're making to it?
Yes, that's my those are my refutations or objections to like your points.
Would you state that what is the hormonal makeup of a male and female?
What is like? Why are you referring to a physical body part of like what a gender is?
No, what I'm stating is what is the comprising factor in making?
You're misconstruing genitalia and gender as the same thing.
No, the hormones.
You are if you're referring to hormones, chromosomes, and genitalia.
Hormones are.
If you're trying to justify there only being a binary set of genders by like breaking in factors like genitalia, chromosomes, and hormones, you're obviously referring to the physical like aspect of that, and the physical aspect is not where you're supposed to take up. It's just a name, which is why I got up the name definition. If you've seen scans and calcs already.
Archimedes, let me finish my point, dude. I gotta let you finish your point, so you gotta give me.
Sure, but like if you're refusing to like progress the argument, almost, I've already explained why not. I already explained why your argument isn't the case.
So what I'm stating is that a male is dominantly formed due to testosterone, correct? Or no, testosterone is the dominating.
Like what aspect?
It's the dominating hormone in the formation of a male.
I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
Estrogen, no, it is. And estrogen is the dominating hormone in the factor of... That is why when...
Oh wow, okay, it is, yeah. Sorry, I did not take it out. Or I did not take, what's it called? Autonomy or anatomy, whatever it's called.
The anatomical science is, I'm guessing, what you're referring to. But
yeah, anatomy.
When a female takes the testosterone hormone, what happens to them?
What are you talking about? You're almost saying, by that logic, you're just saying that like intersex is just a female with a male body part, or just a male with a female body part. That's not the case. It's a being with both. No, it's a being with both. They're not born male and just adding. No, bro. Because rejects, you're like going off the presupposition of what is. You're almost like confusing adding with the combination. There's a difference between adding. Yeah, because you're like what you're saying is just a logical absurdity and logical incoherency. And it's not going to progress the debate, which is why I'm cutting you off. Because the definition of what adding, which is what like you would be in the case, would be to put in or join, and the definition of combination, which is what intersex would be, right? Would be joining or merging of different parts or qualities in which component elements are individually distinct. That is what intersex. It's not adding. It's combining, which is why they're defined as different.
Let me finish my point here.
Sure.
When one hormone takes over the other hormone, the features of the other gender start to appear more often. So if a female starts taking predominantly male chromosomes or male hormones such as testosterone or the testosterone in itself, they start to lose their breasts. Would you necessarily refer to that human being as a intersex being, or would you refer
That's
to it
not
as
the
a male or female?
definition, so no. That doesn't make
No.
sense. There's other. That's why
Okay.
they're because are you they're like 72? That's one of the genders, right? But that's not the gender I'm referring to. That's the problem.
What I'm referring to is, does that being have male anatomy on the top, such as?
Okay, I'm saying that there are multiple ways of addressing that. Intersex is not the only way of addressing that, Rejex.
Okay, and granted that is.
No, it's not granted, bro.
In your argument, you would be debunking the conceptual theory of a trans.
We already went over like the definition of what conceiving and conceptualizing is and the differences, which you conceded to that point. That should have been you conceding. That should have been you conceding to the debate. I just refused to progress it because I wanted this debate to continue on longer. Because in truth, if there's a difference between conceptualizing and conceiving genders, there's conceptualizing what it is and not making it a reality. Since gender is an abstract concept and not something that we can actually conceive.
What you also stated was that was the definition that you were using in the point that you were making.
Yeah.
So you were using the philosophical definition inside of your point inside.
It's not a philosophical definition. That's my definition.
Yes, sir.
Not everyone's got a philosophical.
The definition you were using for conceive was the definition of conceiving inside of a philosophical standpoint. So you using.
No, it's not. I purposely did that so you wouldn't I purposely basically did that so you wouldn't be able to hold me to that standard. I never once used, because the philosophical definition, I can get it for you right now. Hold up. Conceiving. I'm not using my rhetoric against anyone right now. I'm not spurring, nor am I. Do I feel like my rhetoric is better? Yes, because I feel like I actually have arguments. I feel like you're just coming up with arguments as it goes because your points failed in the beginning.
No, I'm basing my thing off of the original argument that I was going by.
The original argument is terrible. Do you understand how many times it's been debunked?
What you're doing is refusing to let me finish a point.
No, what you're doing is not progressing the argument because I spotted out multiple logical errors already.
No, if you...
You do understand the debate is continuing on because I wanted to.
If you were using a specific definition to prove your specific point, then I am...
A specific definition? Do you understand what a specific is?
Yes, a particular or...
A clearly defined or identified thing.
Yes.
I'm assuming that you're using specific as nitpicking at which definitions I want to use. No, I've been sticking to one definition.
No, I know that. Specific.
So what's your point?
What I'm saying is that you are not using the transitive verb of.
Okay, because I don't want to. That's not what I'm getting at, and that does not prove my point, and that's not how that's not how I want to address my point.
Yes. So what I'm getting at is you are not letting me use my own.
You cannot use a definition that disagrees with my definition, because that means you'd almost be strawmanning and just using an equivocation fallacy. I define, because that's what you tried to do earlier, and to define that, which is why we moved on.
Then that is just not letting the other person prove their point.
No, that's a logical error. There's a reason why there are fallacies, Reject. That's just a logical error in your reasoning.
What you're doing right now is you're not letting the other person have a point to make. What you're doing is you are stating that
because your points are logically flawed.
And your points are philosophically based. You can't say that theory is over logic.
No, I'm not saying that they're philosophically based. Huh? You understand what philosophically based is?
You are taking it from a theoretical standpoint of outliers.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're using outliers as a basis.
Philosophical is the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence.
Yes.
Okay. The thing is, I never use a philosophical definition. That's what I've been trying to get at you this entire time.
Okay.
Go.
Fine. Go for it. Oxford hasn't defined it in any other ways that I can actually...
I'm not using Oxford's definition. My definition disagrees with Oxford's definition, which is why I did not use it. Because that does not prove my point.
You said you were using Oxford.
No, I didn't.
Fuck.
What? What do you
Then what were
mean?
you using?
Dude, I'm literally using mine because mine agrees with my point, and it's like a way of getting across it. Hold on, dude. Yeah. I'm back. So yeah, it's not, I'm not using the definition based off anything, or based off like any specific source that you'd want. Which is why, like, I was at first I was explaining like what. Wait, Rejex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so yeah, that's why I was like explaining like that's why I was explaining like the definition of like validity and like the validity of arguing to definitions and what definitions are. That's the first main point why I gave the definition of what a name is. So yeah, I'm not using a philosophical definition.
Okay, fine, whatever. Take that point.
Okay.
The entire premise of my argument was that you cannot have any other form other than male and female.
But that's obviously not the case if there's intersex.
Intersex is a combination of male and female.
That's not a form of male and female.
No, it is a
no, it's not. Male is not male. No, it's not. Male is having male parts and female is having female parts. Having both parts is not male nor female.
You just defined it for me.
Okay.
It is either
meaning
the other part.
Okay, no. Okay, that's fine. No, that's fine. Rejects. No, rejects. No, rejects. Because the problem is, I already explained this, which John and Pete and freaking Godkiller were here for. I already explained if there were intersex, which you already admit that there are possibilities of outliers. So if there's intersex, right, that is not male or female. And intersex is an objective fact. Meaning that there are not male and female. That just proved my point.
Okay, so let's take statistics into effect.
Statistics? It doesn't matter with like the statistics of you being intersex. The problem is that that's a reality. No, because Rejex, it doesn't matter about statistics, whatever you freaking brought up. It doesn't matter about like the possibility of it. The fact of the matter is it is a possibility in an actual world. That possibility becomes actuality. It doesn't matter if it's like happens 10% of the time. The problem is that's still an actuality.
Are statistics involved in science?
What?
Is statistics involved in science?
Why does that matter? There are multiple things involved in science. Philosophy. No, because that's a loaded question. I'm not going to answer a loaded question.
No.
That is a loaded question.
Statistics in science?
No, that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question. I just stated this to you, Rejex. I'm not going to answer a loaded question because it's not going to progress the debate in any positive way. It's just going to give your point to you.
Yes, exactly. I gave your point to you. Now
that's your fault for not contesting it. I'm not going to give a free point to you, especially one that I can contest and debunk. So no, I'm not going to answer a loaded question.
I'm not telling you to give me a free point. I'm telling you to make.
That's what that's why answering a loaded question is. Do you understand the definition of what a loaded question is?
You are not allowing me to make a point in the first place. You're just.
I don't care, because what you're doing is not progressing the argument, Rejex.
Then this isn't a debate in the first place.
No, the debate was over long ago. You're just being stingy. That's it. We're going to conclusion. I'm not going to continue this with you, Rejex. If you're not going to progress the debate, we're just going to go to conclusions. No, Rejex. We're going to conclusions. We're going to conclusions.
There is no conclusion when I wasn't allowed to make a point.
I'm not going to continue to do this with you. I'm literally just going to go to conclusions, because I'm not conceding either, but I'm not just going to continue the debate with you if you're not going to further progress the debate, because it's just idiotic. And you're making it just a spurg fest at this point, because I'm going to start spurging, because I'm getting irritated at you, Rejex.
You already are at this point.
I'm not spurging right now, no.
At this point, you are not allowing me to make a point in the first place.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to local mute you, because I do not want to hear you anymore, and I'm going to ask John, or Godkiller, since Godkiller was here after the substantial part and John was here from the beginning, to please give your verdict on who won. So John, you can start first.
Alright, so, you know how y'all took the water break, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the debate, it was, I would say, go to either side. But then after the water break and y'all came back, you were, like, rhetorically dominating on everything. And it was like, you're bringing up really good points. In the Rejex, he was like, it sounded like from what you're saying, he was just bringing up points on the spot and didn't, like, really have any kind of solid basis for his argument anymore. And he was just kind of, like, not pandering, he was going off on a tangent for stuff that wasn't really relevant to the debate. Like, he was just bringing up points, whatever he could, like, come to mind, basically. So I would give it to you.
Godkiller.
Yeah. So from what I saw, and I would say Archimedes won off the fact of Archimedes gave his own definition of like genitalia. Gender is like based on like genitalia, and won the pretty much what was it? Fucking Rejex gave the 3 point to Archimedes on intersex and stuff, and by giving that point, it was pretty much made Archimedes win the whole entire debate because Archimedes proved that intersex is not the same as male and female by proving that he proved his own definition. And I don't know what Rejex was doing. He tried to bring up the argument of statistics. I don't know why.
Alright, Rejex. Now I'm gonna explain to you the only possible way Rejex you could have won that. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, no, he's not locomoted. Okay, the only reason like possible way you could, cause dude, Rejex, you gotta stop like taking stances that are ignorant, like the.
I wasn't taking stances that were ignorant. I just wasn't allowed to make a point.
Dude, because whatever point you would have made would have just like been circular, or you would have been committing fallacies. I was trying to help you. Yes, it was.
I wasn't allowed to continue into a point.
Because the problem is you're supposed to interrupt someone and stop them if they're not further progressing the debate, which is what you were doing. You're like breaking Hegelian dialectics, which is a major like point in a debate.
What I was trying to get at, Archimedes.
That's fine. You can try to get at as much as you want. You can literally, you can be trying to get out a point that you find as valid. No, Rejex, you could be getting at a point. No, Rejex, you could be getting at a point as long as you want. But the point of the matter is, that point would not have progressed the debate. It would have just been circular, considering I already proved that intersex was like another definition. It was another gender. Not only that, but the point that you conceded, the fact of the matter is you conceded to conceptualizing being different from conceiving, which is one of the major factors that led to my win. Because rather or not Godkiller and John, their verdict were fine. Like, that's fine, I was rhetorically stomping you, but it wasn't even that gave me the win. It was the point that you cannot, like, prove. You were literally contradicting yourself midway through by agreeing to intersex and things like that.
I never once contradicted myself, because if...
You did if you agreed to intersex, especially if intersex is a different gender than male and female.
Dude.
Yes, you literally contradicted yourself.
Archimedes, shut the fuck up for a second. Let me say what I'm trying to say.
I'm gonna look at you because I'm not gonna progress. I'm not literally just not gonna further progress the debate with you because this debate is over. You can like prove, like you can try to justify yourself at the end of the day, but you're not going to get anywhere further in a debate if you continue to go on like this. Like, you don't just see everyone just being stingy about a debate. No, learn from your progress. I know more than this about. I'm more like about this topic than your rejects. So,
Actually, I think Happy is.
happy.
Yeah, I think he's a bit stingy.